Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you could make it back here today. Today I want to do a take 2 on a video that I created last year when I very first started my channel. The title of that video is called Emergency Heat and Light, the 72-Day Candle, made out of Crisco. One of the common questions that I received was, what is Crisco? And that came from folks that were abroad, like in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So the next question that was common that I received was, can you use coconut oil that you buy at the grocery store? And I got to thinking, why not? So for the past couple of months, I have been making these Crisco candles out of coconut oil, and they work just the same. In fact, it's better because it's so natural and it can handle the high heat just like Crisco can. So that's what we're going to be making today, are the emergency heat and light candles, but we're going to make them out of coconut oil. The next comment, question, or criticism, which I like criticism because it helps me be more precise and accurate and give good information. I always think that it's people over the age of 50 that are watching my channel, but I think I have a lot of young audience too. Actually, one of my youngest audience is 8 years old. So I have to kind of make my content stretch across that. So sort of like talk to you like you're a 5th grader. So the common criticism I got was that making a candle inside of a Crisco can would probably be a fire danger. And yeah, leaving it unattended and burning it constantly till it's actually all the way burnt out, probably a potential for that. So let's talk about what would be the safest way to make these candles. And I went over that in the video before, and I'm going to pin that video at the end of this video so that you can click on it and watch it. But the common comment or criticism was about fire safety. So I recommend that you make these candles in fireproof containers. Probably the most universal fireproof container that there is out there are canning jars. The nice thing about canning jars is that when you want to take these candles camping with you, or if you want to store them away for an actual emergency, you can put a lid on them. The jars come to hold a lid. This is one of my Crisco candles that I made last year. It's the last one that I have left, and now I've gone to coconut oil. I've also added an extra candle on the inside of this one, hoping that I can raise the heat coming from it for my terracotta pot heaters. Now, that was the other question that I received was, where do I get my fondue pots for my terracotta pot heaters that go on top of these fondue pot holders? I'm going to talk about that later. First, we should talk about these candles a little bit more. The other question I received was, can you use essential oil? Absolutely. Pick your favorite fragrance, and for a small jar, add no more than 7 to 9 drops. If you're finding that you're not smelling it as the candle burns down, you can add a few more drops to it at that point too. Today I'm going to be adding basil and lemongrass. These are my favorite essential oils, and I'm going to tell you why in a little bit as well. You will also need candles for your candle, which that sounds silly. You need a candle for your candle. Okay, you'll see why. I was also thinking in terms of fireproof containers. These are glass jars for tea lights. So I'm thinking that they're a bit of a tempered glass and they can hold the heat. So you could make tiny candles in these little glass ones. I did have a Crisco candle in here. Once it was finished, I cleaned it out, and now I'm going to fill this one up with coconut oil as well. I think that's all I wanted to talk about here. Let's go in the kitchen and let's start to make one of these candles in this jar.
Here in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest, coconut oil is very solid, so you will need to scoop it out of the container into a microwave-safe container. I'm trying to eyeball the amount that I'll need to fit in that jar. Place it into the microwave in 30-second or 1-minute increments. Do not leave it unattended. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to put it in for 30 more seconds. And this is what it looks like in the liquid form. It makes it easier for measuring it precisely for the jars.
All right, now we have the oil liquefied. So we're going to add our essential oils to it. I like to use basil and lemongrass for a few different reasons. Basil is very calming, it's very uplifting, and I just love how it smells. It's also a good digestive if you were to eat the basil plant, but I just love the smell of it. So I've added 7 drops of this one. And I like to use lemongrass, and I'm going to add 7 drops of this one. Now, both of these essential oils are a great bug repellent. So I had these candles at camp all summer, and they really help with the mosquitoes. And you can actually use the coconut oil on your skin like a moisturizer, but as a bug repellent. So not only is it a candle, it's also a moisturizer and a bug repellent. Amazing, right? So then I'm going to mix the oils into the coconut oil. And as the candle burns down, you can re-liquefy it and add more essential oils to it. Or even just, if you're going to keep it as a candle, you can add essential oils on top and they'll kind of melt in. But you could actually just use this as a moisturizer. It's amazing. I mean, anything that's food grade you can put on your skin, right? Okay, that's all mixed in. I'm gonna set this aside and put it in the fridge, and then once it's solidified, we'll finish making the candle. But the next thing I want to talk about are fondue pots. Not so much for the pot, but for the base. I like to use these for my Radiant terracotta pot heaters. I recommend that folks go to the Goodwill or garage sales, or maybe ask a family member if they have a fondue pot. Most of them have these metal holders with them. And the candles that we're making fit down right in here. Go back through the videos on my channel about the terracotta pot heaters. Those are part of the emergency heat package. You put the two together. You use the emergency candle with a terracotta pot heater. Now, it's not going to be like a big furnace or anything, but it is going to remove the chill off of the air. Read the comments in my videos, and people will comment about how they've actually used these and how they work. So I've lit the candle, put the terracotta pot over it. After you've lit your candle, you want to take your terracotta pot. These are flower pots that you can pick up at your nurseries or your hardware stores. Please get the plain terracotta. Don't get the ones that are painted, you know, like this or with a shine. They have to be just bare terracotta. You place the terracotta pot over the candle, place a coin on it, that will trap the heat in here, and before you know it, this is already getting too hot to the touch. Yeah, it'll start to radiate heat. The whole purpose of this whole unit is this collects the heat to keep sending it on, and even after the candle burns out, which this candle is going to burn for 36 hours, it's a bit more of an efficient way to capture the heat and then radiate it out. I've been doing them for many years in my camper and in the house during heat power outages, and they work really well. This one is a chocolate fondue set that I picked up after Christmas one year. But it's good too, because normally you would use a tea light with it. But in this case, let's see if I can touch this. Ooh, it's getting warm. I can take this candle, it fits in here, and I have another one. This one heats up faster than this size because it's a little closer down to the candle, but yet there is still air. As you can see, the candle's still burning. It's just a bit more of a compact version. This is the one that I've been taking in the camper lately, just for space. I found that this was pretty big. It's also hard to find a place to put this that's also fire safe in there. All right, now we're ready to finish the coconut candle that we started earlier. So as you can see, it's solidified in the jar. The only thing left now is to put candles in it. There's one, and I'm going to put 2 candles in these now because I want them to burn hotter and longer. I want them to burn hotter inside the terracotta pot radiant heaters. Okay, and we'll just pat that down a little bit. So there they are inside the jar. Now, don't have to worry about getting it on my skin because I can use it as a moisturizer. Oh, I wish we had smell-o-vision. This smells so good. Okay, candles are in there. I'm gonna light them up. Ooh. So I'll need to let these burn down a little bit before I can put them underneath the terracotta pot holders. But that's a little update today, the take 2 on the emergency heat and light, now coconut oil candle. So I really thank you guys for coming along again and watching me. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't really affect you. It affects me. And also touch the notification bell so that when I release a new video, you'll be notified. I thank you for coming along today. So take care, and we'll see you out there.